September 25th, the new Fox Tuesday kicks off with New Girl's new season. Then welcome Ben and Kate.
Stay away from my sister before you find out what 6 years of Krav Maga feels like. Well, like year and a half plus like 4 years on and off I was traveling.
Followed by another all-new New Girl.
What am I looking at here? Pure, unadulterated friendship.
And the Mindy Project.
Can't believe you're tattling.
Tattling is when a little girl does it, okay? When a hot woman does it, it's called whistleblowing.
The new Fox Tuesday, premieres September 25th on Fox.
You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Wilfred After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Wilfred After Show.
Yeah, cheer for us. Cheer for us, live studio audience. You know what we like. Yeah. So thank you, guys. We're coming to you from a live studio audience.
That was not canned laughter.
Bing is for doing, and we're here to do the AfterBuzz podcast for Wilfred, Season 2, Episode 13, entitled Secrets.
You know what's not a secret? This is the season finale.
I'm going to cry tonight. I'm going to cry a lot.
I already cried.
On the way here?
Yeah,
I cried all week knowing that this would be the end. And now I'm ready to start crying again.
Yeah, you and me both, sister. You and me both. Let's introduce ourselves. I'm John Barrett. With me, as always, my lovely co-host.
Chevonne Hughes.
Slightly less lovely.
Oh.
Equally, if not greaterly, lovely Greg Goodness.
Yes. Who we discovered has an awesome Agent Smith impersonation.
No, we're not
Do it,
doing
please.
That. No, that has nothing to do with anything.
I know, but it's
You can wait until the end of the
Actually,
the audience wants you to do it.
Here's how it does have something to do with something.
Okay.
Agent Smith was the head of the elves in Lord of the Rings.
True.
Okay.
And Elijah Wood, star of Wilfred. People might not know this about Elijah Wood. He was in the Lord of the Rings.
Like a cameo, right?
Yeah, he had a small role as Frodo.
He was one of the orcs.
It was a good makeup job.
Yeah.
Awesome.
A really good makeup job. And a really good makeup job on that really ugly guy they had play Frodo. It looked exactly like Elijah Wood, but short.
Oh, we joke, but we love him. Which is why I think we were really taking on an emotional roller coaster on this episode. How about that drawing, huh?
How about it?
The drawing
Super
that
creepy.
sparked... It is super creepy.
Yeah.
It sparked a whole mess of trouble for this episode.
So what we're presented with is, I guess it's like a 7-year-old's drawing of a family.
I'd say 6, but yeah.
There's a dog, and then there's a tree floating in the sky, apparently.
No, it was in the foreground.
It was grounded.
Yeah, it was from the foreground.
You guys are tripping balls. But hiding behind that tree was a dog that looked suspiciously like Wilfred.
I'll go further. I'll say not suspiciously. I'll say a dead ringer for Wilfred.
It was Wilfred.
Like matching the little child scribbles in the opening, Wilfred.
Yeah, true. Maybe they had the
Chill
same
down
child
the spine.
Here's what I really liked about this setup is we're to the point where we just instantly assume that Wilfred has created something to mess with Ryan's head.
Right.
And so right after that, you're like, oh, well, Wilfred did it. And we also addressed that right away, where Ryan is like, you know what, audience, I'm on board with you. I've seen what we've done for 2 seasons.
He's learned, finally.
And I think that this is shenanigans.
Maybe my dog is messing with me.
So I'm going to go ahead and talk about Cylons.
Yes, and mess with him back.
And perfect response. Frack you, Ryan. For those of you, apparently including Greg, who are not familiar with Battlestar Galactica, one of the most annoying traits that you have to get over to have any enjoyment of the program is that they replace every cuss word with the word frack.
Yes.
I'm well aware of the lingo of Battlestar Galactica. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
That's not my name. Gregavere.
Frack yourself.
Oh, jeez.
I will.
We're about to have like a Thunderdome-style nerd battle.
We're about to. It's been scheduled.
It's been scheduled.
So not only do we have this little switcheroo right at the beginning, but it keeps coming back throughout the episode where we're going deeper and deeper into this rabbit hole of...
The thing we've been discussing all season.
Right.
Is basically, it's danced around, or it's almost dealt with directly for the first time.
Vaguely.
Well, we have Wilfred himself ask the question, like, who am I?
What's my purpose?
Yeah. And, like, do I even exist? Or what was the context of, it's like I don't even exist, as he looks to the camera?
Yes. Great moment.
Also left the interpretation for thousands of Wilfreds, I feel like, especially when he's talking about the reincarnation, which I was so hoping for.
Yeah, you kind of got me.
Pop in and be some more Wilfreds. But no, instead we layer on, this picture isn't enough. This is the season finale. They have to go big. So not only do we have that, we have to build on that with the contention of, oh, can Amanda actually hear Wilfred? How much does Wilfred know about my relationship with Amanda? Is Wilfred somehow embezzling $10 million into offshore accounts?
Exactly.
Is there a plan?
Is there a plan?
Yes.
Ryan loosely indicates that there is some sort of plan, but that's mostly in his trick on Wilfred.
Yes.
Which for some reason kind of worked.
Yeah, I thought I was buying. I was like, oh really? Oh, okay.
I think at one point in it, I thought when he was doing that the whole point was to just distract Wilfred and get him so drawn into the story that he wouldn't be paying attention when he clipped his nails.
Right.
Because I thought he clipped one. Because I thought I heard Wilfred say a really quiet "ow" in the middle of his speech about Battlestar Galactica. But instead, Wilfred just chews his nails off.
I mean, it would have been a good idea. That would have been the smart thing to do.
Right.
Is while he's laying this intricate story to also to get a job done.
Yeah.
Really.
And if you looked like at what he was using, those weren't really like an instrument to actually clip nails. It was like a plier or something.
No, that's what dog nails.
Really?
Yeah.
Those look really.
They look like
really
weapons of
medieval torture device.
They're really horrible.
Oh,
poor dogs. Yeah, you know. There's an interesting moment where Ryan says he thinks he thought he was getting better, which was funny to me because he's still talking to a dog with a human's face.
He's saying that directly to that dog
too. Yeah.
But has he done anything? Like, he was on medication, right? Is he on medication?
No.
So he's not on medication. He's not in therapy. Why would he think he was getting better?
Yeah.
Because he's understanding more about what Wilfred is and how he plays into his life.
Right.
I think was the general idea.
Okay.
But now that there's this picture, I think they really wrapped it up at the end. Pretty much what we assumed and what in our heads we were all floating around. Like, oh, well, if he's there from before, then Ryan has always been crazy. And that idea at the end, I think, was pretty poignant. That, man, if there's no pilot here.
Yeah, that was a terrifying... Basically, yeah, that's a terrifying conclusion to it.
Right, because now not even your hallucination has the answers, which means that you have the answers somewhere deep inside your schizophrenic noggin. It means that it's just completely random neurons firing.
Yep. Yep, and producing a man in a dog costume. Hey, folks, have you ever heard of this iTunes rigmarole?
I've heard of iTunes. I don't think I've ever heard of rigmarole.
New
I'm
thing.
stealing that.
New
Rigmarole.
thing that iTunes is doing. The iTunes rigmarole. We'll get into that later. We'll get into that later.
Is it somewhat of a hullabaloo?
A little bit.
Is it in a
rabble-rousing thing?
Yeah.
They have this thing where you can download the podcast app and listen to our lovely podcasts and others, I guess, if that's your thing.
Who are we to judge?
Yeah, whatever. But the other thing it allows you to do is to rate podcasts that you listen to, give them like a star rating out of 5, and you can comment. You can leave little comments. So what you can do for us, and we don't ask much of you, listener, viewer, whatever you're doing,
Media.
whatever sense you're using to experience us, smell, I don't know.
Someone is just sitting on their speaker and listening to the vibration, feeling the vibrations.
That's how a blind deaf person would probably.
Ooh, yeah, let's not go there. Yeah.
But rate. Let us know what you think. Give us a comment. Say something mean about us or nice.
If you're a blind deaf person, you can give us 1 star.
If you're a blind deaf person who was offended for some reason by the thing I just said about you, whatever, get over it, dude.
But how would they have?
Leave a comment. Yeah, how can
they have?
But what you should be doing, we're thinking 4 stars. We're thinking 5 stars. We'll take 3 stars. Really, whatever you can give our way. The point is, rate it through the process of stardom osmosis keeps the lights on in this place.
And tell your friends.
Yes. Do that as well. Speaking of friends.
I love it.
A lady friend made a certain appearance in this episode.
Which Greg was looking forward to.
The lady friend appearance that I have been harking and calling and just aching for. The return of Amanda.
Yes.
And Ryan and Amanda being adorable and happy and Amanda looking fine in that formal evening wear.
Folks, Greg had the hugest boner during our viewing.
I was a little uncomfortable.
I had an emotional boner is what I had. Thank you very much.
Is that what they call it these days?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I believe they also call it a hootenanny, shindig,
rigmarole.
Yes. Rigmarole's a real word.
I've heard it before. I have, but
anyway.
Yeah.
Amanda, she's back with Ryan. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
It's great. It's so wonderful. And then we get to what I've been.
They're gonna give a toast at the wedding.
The couple's toast.
They're gonna do it together. She's getting along with Wilfred. Which is an important thing to mention.
They have chats on the porch.
They had a 10-minute thing on the porch, which she said it was so lovely, which was a weird choice of words.
Not that weird.
Well, it was a weird choice of words for me, thinking, why is someone saying that about just sitting petting a dog for 10 minutes?
That can be lovely. That's a great experience. I thought nothing of it when I heard it.
It's you're just trying to stick it to me. You know it's wrong to say that.
Guys.
And Ryan, sensing all of this positivity, decides it's time. It's time to tell her the truth.
What we've been talking about the entire what I was saying, this needs to happen. He needs to tell her. This is what's going to be the breakthrough, and it's going to propel the 3rd season. It's going to be amazing.
And he tells her, and before telling her, I just want to point out, he says, "This is hard to explain," to which I wrote, "Hard to explain? Nope. Schizophrenia."
It's a little hard to explain in terms that don't make someone freak out immediately, which he does a really poor job of doing.
Yes. He just said way too much. It just should have been as simply as, listen, I think I'm sick. I'm seeing things. You don't need to be that specific about what you see and what you hear.
Right.
You've really thought this out. You've given this speech before.
Yeah, I've had to do it before. Sorry.
You've had to. Who have you? What do you see as a human that shouldn't be a human, and who have you had to tell?
John Barrett. You don't see John Barrett as the gross troll that he is.
The orc.
F both of you.
Yeah, it's a bad thing. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it.
Her reaction, Amanda's reaction, not as expected.
No.
Very much like, it's okay, it's great, which is what I want to hear. It's like, yay, wait a second.
Back up.
Why is she okay with it?
Pump the brakes here, Amanda. It's not even, she immediately kisses him. Mm-hmm. She immediately grabs him by the face and kisses the crap out of him. And then backs up. I talked to Wilfred too. Now, I knew something was messed up about it.
Now we have an explicit label on our iTunes now.
Again.
It's cool, whatever.
You knew something was messed up.
Wasn't sure how. Was not immediately. I was like, no. Something is about to go awry here. Something is amiss.
That's why I was squealing the entire time. I was like, something's coming. Oh, I can feel it.
And
it happened.
Sure enough, really, these moments of what we are experiencing on Amanda's end as pure joy are basically the death rattles of her insanity, of her sanity, I should say.
Batshit nuts crazy.
The floodgates have opened, and all the crazy is washing over Amanda Town, drowning all the sanity inhabitants.
In fairness, she had already embezzled several $1 million.
But we didn't know that.
True.
But I have to ask a question. Why, as a viewer, are we more like, I don't know, taken aback by a girl being that crazy than Ryan this entire, like, for 2 seasons we've seen him be that friggin' nuts. But for some, I feel like we're judging Amanda a little bit too harshly. Because
that's fair to say.
Because I mean, just like in maybe it was performance, maybe it was Allison Mack's performance. I don't know. She was like super crazy.
I'm gonna go ahead and point out that Ryan's craziness is him talking to a dog and ultimately being kind of a wuss.
Okay.
Her craziness is, this dog tells me we should be together forever. I'm going to embezzle several $1 million from a company.
Right.
But in the grand scheme of things, if you just looked at the dialogue between that Amanda is having with Wilfred and the dialogue that Ryan is having with Wilfred,
right,
I think the couple on the wedding cake reminds him of us.
Right.
Versus, I have a pair of dick shears. You tell me who's the crazy one there.
That's a good point.
Who's really down the rabbit hole? Who's on the 11th floor of the Inception elevator there?
Oh, goodness. And I hate that she had to be, like, crazy about, like, romance, like a relationship. It's, like, such a, like, stereotype of a crazy, like, girl who wants a boyfriend and wants to get married. And
yeah, that was a little... I don't see where else they would have taken it.
Yeah.
But, man, there was... I mean, really, where else do you go, though? Is it just like, and by the way, my poop is gold, and she throws it everywhere? Like, that would have been great. That would have been a great season finale.
That's not very far-fetched for the writers of Wilfred.
Hey, Greg, I hear you have a thing to discuss with us.
I do have a thing to discuss with you, and it's kind of related to Wilfred. Wilfred's a comedy, a dark comedy, mind you, but we all like it. We like comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Coming up on Tuesday, 25th, 8 p.m., Fox has a lot more comedy coming your way. It is their premiere night for some hot new comedy, okay? First off, we got New Girl coming back, the lovely Zooey Deschanel, and she has lost her job. So now she's got to deal with that. With all the craziness in her life, she's got to find a new job, and in this economy to boot.
It's going to take a while.
Then...
Thanks, Obama.
If you like New Girl, and everyone likes New Girl, from the producers of New Girl, you have what critics are calling one of the season's best new series. And that's in, like, quotes, okay? That's not just a general, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Ben and Kate, okay? That's at 8:30. Stick around for 9. More New Girl. More Zooey Deschanel.
You gotta be joking.
Adorable.
That's just too much funny.
Wait a minute. You mispronounced a word. You meant to say adorkable, didn't you?
I did not. I meant to say adorable and hilarious. Then, you want to stick around because Mindy Kaling from The Office, well, she's got a brand new workplace, let me tell you. It is titled The Mindy Project. and it is looking pretty funny. I've seen the trailers, I've seen the ads. I'm digging it. I want to see. And you should all see as well. So you should tune in. Fox, Tuesday, 25th September, obviously. 8 p.m. It all starts. It's all going down. Watch it. It's going to be funny.
I will watch it.
Check it out, guys.
Check them stuffs.
So we're talking about new seasons starting off here. We've just wrapped up the season of Wilfred, and we've talked before about how this season had a little more purpose to it, a little more of a general arc.
It felt bigger.
Yeah,
man.
Felt more cinematic.
There was more to this.
Yeah.
So do you think that if this was the intention of the producers and the writers, right, is that we're going to have a bigger arc in season 2, we're going to have something that really holds together from one first episode to the last. What do you think? Reflections, thoughts on that?
I think we've seen a really great exploration. We've seen a great arc in Ryan. Ryan is where I think the arc is best seen, because he has a better understanding of who he is and why he is that person. You know what I mean? Well, I guess not so much the why, but he's got it. He's starting to get it figured out. And that was a thread that I saw develop, and I think it's shown in our discussions of the show just how much that sort of thread is, I think, on purposely.
It's very much intentional.
Yeah,
I think is the word you're looking for.
Probably.
Which was shoved out by rigmarole.
And that thread, it was definitely needed, and I totally understand why the season had to have that special kind of darkness that we didn't have in the last season. So I'm not gonna lie, it did kind of bum me out, but so I'm hoping that, fingers crossed, next season we'll see a return of that more whimsical nature that made me fall in love with the show.
Also, might I say, Special Type of Darkness is the name of my new death metal album. Drops next Tuesday, the 25th, same as all of this Fox stuff. So get it, listen to that, and then watch some Fox comedies.
I think that this season, I agree with what you were saying, that we're learning more about Ryan. I think that this season, for me, was, even though we never got an answer, it was all about what everyone's been asking since the show premiered, since you first heard the premise of this show. It's like, what is Wilfred? What is his bearing on the real world? And in season 1, it was things like, oh, can Wilfred really, open a can of tuna on his own? Can he really be smoking a bong in the basement? And this was more of why is he here? Why is he really not even in the physical world? Why is he in my mind?
Right.
And I think that this episode really did a great job of letting off on a pretty important note, which we talked about it earlier, but I keep coming back to it. There's no pilot here. There's nothing driving it. And Ryan now has to contest with the fact that, look, for all of Wilfred's, whimsical, well-intentioned adventures, apparently there is no one behind the wheel, and we might have to kind of trust that this is just a crazy ride that's going to go on.
Terrific.
Yeah.
So Greg, you pointed all of us to a little article.
I did. We got some juicy gossip from Jason Gann, courtesy of
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
Courtesy of Assignment X. And he talked a lot about the second season. Kind of disappointed we didn't get any spoilers for season 3.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's just how the ball rolls. Interesting thing, and I think my favorite bit of trivia that I didn't know about this show before, Bear not supposed to have a gender. We've always discussed him, I believe, as...
I kind of always thought it was a he.
I thought it was a she. Well, I don't know. I don't think I ever gave it a gender.
They did, though.
I'm sure we've definitely thrown it around. Either this is a guy or a girl. According to Jason, they were never supposed to mention it.
Right.
It was supposed to be a mystery. And then someone at Comic-Con got up and was like, yeah, so how did you guys decide that you were going to say that Bear was a dude? He said, oh, we haven't decided that. But yeah, in the first episode of season 2, you said he while they were riding along in the back of an ambulance. And apparently that wasn't supposed to happen. That was a bit of ad-lib or something that accidentally made it in. So now they have to find a way to make Bear gender neutral again.
So guys, Wilfred, with all of our talk about how dark it is and how horrible
cerebral.
They're the first show, I think they're the first show on TV to do a same-sex, despite it being a dog with an inanimate object, same-sex marriage.
That's true. Well, they don't really have a marriage. I think they're more of a common law sort of situation going
It's still a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, a beautiful.
They're friends with benefits. Let's just be real about it.
True.
Also in that article, it's a lot of talk about what we were actually discussing, that it was a much more archy type of season, which was fun to do. And, you know, they've always been having a really good time on set. They also talked a lot about Robin Williams and how, funny story, Robin Williams called them up and was like, hey, how about I be a character on your show?
Nice.
Because they were on Elijah Wood was in Happy Feet with them, right?
Mm-hmm. And they were like, hey, well, why don't I come on and do this? And so now, that's a horrible Robin Williams impression.
You talking about this article reminds me of another article that we talked about earlier in the season about Fiona Gubelman saying that she was going to be doing something out of the ordinary or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that she was going to be more of a...
Yeah, more of a, like, you know, bigger character. That didn't really happen.
No, I think it was.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Did it?
Yeah.
I think that she expanded her world and that we got to see a little bit. We've talked about it before, how she's expanded and become a little more of an actual person.
Right.
As opposed to just this two-dimensional sort of prop-up.
Right.
You know?
Granted, she's a bad person.
Yeah. I think she's a little bit better. She's not talking about homeless people and stuff like that anymore, trying to kill homeless people. Remember that?
But
I forget about
she might, which brings us
Spooky theremin music.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Don't you do it.
Predict something.
Next season we will see Ryan's dad finally, because I've been waiting to see him.
Predict something.
I'm just a lost in a sea of me being sad that Amanda isn't coming back anymore.
Predict
Amanda
something.
dreamed it all, and now she's sweetly and gently making love to Ryan. And that's how we're going to open up on season 3.
That's really beautiful. My prediction, we're going to find out that Wilfred has been sent by Rupert Murdoch, eccentric Australian billionaire, just to mess with one man. So, folks, that's it for this season of Wilfred. Try and keep yourselves together. Greg and I will be back for Archer soon enough.
Yeah.
I'll be around for South Park. Chevonne dies tomorrow.
No, I will be doing Bad Girls Club. Tune in on Mondays.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's got to be a fun
Tell them where they can find ya.
You can find me on Twitter at Chevonne_Hughes.
You can also find me on the twits at Generic Maverick.
I'm at J. Dugan Barrett over there. So on behalf of all of my co-hosts and the lovely folks at AfterBuzz TV and our live studio audience, we'd like to thank you for listening and remind you to tune in next season. Same bat time, same bat channel, hopefully.
Maybe.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.